Hello, and welcome back. Today, I've got a very beautiful story to share, a story that highlights the difference between wealth and heart in a calm and meaningful way. It's about two gardens, two lives, and the lessons they teach us about what truly matters. So, sit back, relax, and let's dive into the two gardens. In an area of a city, two gardens stood as reflections of their owners' lives. One belonged to Mr. Robert, a wealthy landowner with endless resources, and the other to Mrs. Clare, a humble schoolteacher who worked hard for everything she had. Mr. Robert's garden was grand and dazzling. Exotic flowers from distant lands bloomed in vibrant colors, marble fountains sparkled under the sun, and perfectly trimmed hedges created a maze-like wonderland. Teams of gardeners worked tirelessly to keep it pristine. Visitors often came to admire it, but few ever touched or felt truly connected to it. On the other hand, Mrs. Clare's garden was small and modest. It had rows of vegetables, wildflowers, and a few fruit trees. She cared for it herself, planting seeds with her own hands, watering them daily, and pulling weeds as she hummed her favorite songs. The air around her garden smelled of fresh earth and blooming life, and it always seemed to welcome anyone who passed by. One day, young James, a curious boy from the village, decided to visit both gardens to understand their beauty. At Mr. Robert's estate, he was amazed. "This is incredible," James exclaimed, looking around in awe. Mr. Robert smiled and said, "Thank you. Everything here is a result of investment, planning, and the best money can buy." Later, James visited Mrs. Clare's garden. She was sitting on a wooden bench, enjoying the weather. "It's not as fancy as Mr. Robert's garden, but it feels warm," James said, running his hands over the leaves of a sunflower. Mrs. Clare chuckled. "It's not about size or money, James. Every plant here has a story. I grew that apple tree from a seed my father gave me. Those vegetables feed my neighbors. This garden reflects who I am." James thought deeply about the two gardens. Both were beautiful, but one felt distant and perfect, while the other felt alive, full of effort and heart. When he shared his thoughts with his friends, they began to see the difference too. The people came to realize that wealth can create wonders, but love and care make a connection that riches alone cannot buy. From that day on, the two gardens became symbols of life's choices, one of grandeur and distance, and the other of meaning and closeness. And the moral of this story is the difference between the rich and the poor is not just in resources, but often in perspective. Wealth can build great things, but it's the love and effort poured into what we do that truly touches hearts. Thank you so much for watching this story. I hope it gave you something to reflect on and perhaps inspired you to see the beauty in simplicity and care. Remember, it's not just what we have, but how we nurture what we love that truly matters. Take care, and I'll see you next time for another meaningful story.